What's going on, guys? Welcome back. If you're new around here, I hope you stick around. But this is my 1954 Bel Air. I just picked this up. If you watched the last video, obviously you already know. What I'm going to start with is a lot of the stuff that's been done in this car isn't really the way I would have done it, so we're going to take a lot of it apart and just start over. First things first, we're just going to hop underneath the hood here. The headers, they gotta go, this intake's gotta go, and the wiring. I'm not happy with any of it, so we're just gonna go ahead and strip this thing down to where I want to start building it. And then first things first, I think we're gonna start with headers because I don't want forward dumps on it. We're not turbo in this thing. But in order to put the other style headers on, this body mount, bracket, brace, whatever you want to call it, we're going to have to modify that to get headers to go down through here, which is no big deal. We'll get that cut out and then we'll add some metal in to strengthen it back up to make it better. Then after we figure that out, I want to pull this motor out and the transmission and clean up underneath the hood and paint it just like I did on the Catalina. If you've been around, you know how underneath the hood that looks. I just think it looks better under the hood when you clean it up. But other than the rest of the paint on the car, we're leaving that. We're not going to mess with it. And then we also got to make some reinforcements for the top of the core support because they cut it out and it has left this really weak. So we have to figure this out. No big deal. We got metal, we got a welder, we can make anything work. But I think I'm just going to hop in here and start taking out everything that I don't want to use or that needs redone in my opinion. So let's get on it. Alright, to me that already looks way better, but we're going to keep on moving. I got these headers that I've had hanging on the wall over there for, actually, since the channel started, to be completely honest. But we're going to try to make these work. They're shorties and they go out the back and it'll be a lot easier. All I've done is I took the collector off of here. It's just a V-band clamp. And you can probably see a little better here. That's on the floor. Anyways, you can see better now that the body mount, bracing, all that. I've held it up here a little bit, this header, and it looks like we're going to have to cut out this inside leg here and part of this one. And this is just flat sheet metal. It's not real thick. So we'll probably end up cutting out this one here and probably most of this one all the way down to the bottom here. We can fill all this in and strengthen this all back up, so it's not a big deal. We will fill it back in and make it better. That's one of the things I want to do once the motor is out. So these are going to work. Hopefully we'll make them work regardless, and then we'll move on to strengthening up this core support. But I'll set you guys up and kind of show you what I'm talking about, why they're kind of running into stuff, or how they're running into stuff. So, one second. Alright, I got you guys set up there about as good as I can. So I took this and I just held it up against the head. Now obviously it has to go way farther back, but that gives us an idea of what needs to come out. Like I said, it's not a whole lot, but for sure this inside rib and probably, I'm going to say over half of this one. And then I'm just going to go ahead and cut it out all the way down to the bottom here, and then I'll probably just go right up this seam here and then follow into this opening. And then this one here, I'm just going to trim it off the top. We'll make it look really good once we take the motor out, that when we got more room to get in here, because there's other stuff that needs addressed in here while the motor's out as well. But for now we're going to get this roughed in, that way we know where the hole is and what we need to have open, and then once we pull the motor out we'll reinforce it and clean everything up. So I'm gonna get the grinder out and do a rough cut of what I think needs to come out, and then we'll doctor it up here after a bit. Okay, so I definitely thought I was recording that whole time. Well, to my surprise, I wasn't. But regardless, we got the header in here. With the way that being able to get the grinder in there and stuff, I know it looks terrible right now because, well, most of it's gone. But that was the only way I could really get a grinder in there to cut anything. So what we're going to do now that that's there, this is the piece that went right here. I'm going to put this back in. And then I'm going to fill in this little triangle piece down here that's missing. And I feel like that's going to be plenty strong enough. The only thing that was over here was a thin piece of metal already anyways. So we'll fill this back in. Then we'll run a piece from straight down here to here. Fill that in. And that'll be plenty strong enough in my world. We'll grind it down, make it look good. And then move on to the other side, which I probably won't show too much of that side because it's going to be even worse to get to because the steering column's over there, the brake booster's in the way, and yeah. But I'm gonna get the welder out and we'll start putting this back together. Alright, it's the next day. I did go ahead last night and go ahead and get that other header to fit. That side went a lot better than this side. The grinder just fit better over there. Anyways, instead of pulling the welder out just yet, just because it'd be easier to get down in there and weld with the motor out of here, which we're going to take it out regardless because other things need to be done. I figured we can go ahead and try to stiffen this up a little. Like I showed you guys, it's pretty weak. So what I'm going to do is to I'll make a little triangle here, just a little gusset. Maybe we'll bend down the front of it. It's just something to stiffen this up, that way it's not wobbling around, flexing around. It's only the more it wiggles around, the more it's going to potentially break something. So I want to stiffen this up. So what I'm going to do is take just a regular sheet of paper and hold it up square against this, and then this is where it helps to have dirty fingers. I'm just going to take my finger, thumb, whatever, it doesn't matter, and then rub it along here, and it's going to make a mark on here right where that plate is. Hopefully you guys can see that on the camera. And then with this having these lines on here, I can take this sheet of paper and fold it right on this line. Can you guys even see what I'm doing? Get you a little closer. Alright, here's the line that it made, and since there's a little gap here in the corner, we're just looking for this angle, and this paper has squares on it. So I'm just going to take it and fold it right along this one line here. That way it still has a square edge. And then we can take some sheet metal, which I have laying on the floor over here, and this is the angle we want to cut. Yeah, just make a straight line straight down here, be that wide down here, go down to a point, and then once that's cut out, we'll put it in here, have a little gusset, and it'll stiffen up both sides. And I might make a little 90 for the front of it, not sure yet. I don't have a sheet metal brake, so we'll see how stiff it is with just a flat piece, and then if it needs more, we'll do more. So I'll show you guys marking this out on the steel over here. Well, I figured I could just bring the steel over here. This is the piece we're going to use. It's just some, I don't know, maybe 16 or so. That's all this core support's made out of. But what I'm going to do is, make sure you guys can see this. That's our dirt line, I guess you could call it. I'm just going to cut this along that, like so. Like I said, all we're looking for is this angle. Nothing fancy. This part, garbage. Yeah, stay down there where you'll get caught on fire. This here is what we're looking for. Now, right here is about where my dirty finger stopped marking. So we're going to use this line on this paper that's on here already to be our guide. I'm just going to trim that out. It's nothing fancy, guys. Anybody can do this. Boom. And then this, let me turn you guys a little. This should fit, in theory, right here. Easy as that. So, just gonna take this now, back over here, put it on this, take the Sharpie. It's over here. And we'll just go ahead and use this corner that's right here. And then we'll just mark down the edge of this. Like so. We can always trim it up later. I'm going to cut it big. I always cut everything big. That way you know it's going to fit. You don't want to undersize it. But I'll cut this out and then we'll see about making it fit in over there. Alright. Took our paper, cut out a piece of metal. If you don't have one of these, a roll lock for, I guess you're going to call this a die grinder. A roll lock, you have these different bits. They are game changer. Reason why I'm saying that is because I had to use it to fine tune this corner a little bit. I don't know, there's a rivet in here and I just used it to fine tune that corner a little bit, and this thing lines up perfect now. Then you can use these, this is like a Scotch-Brite pad, I guess you could call it. It cleans up the metal without taking off the metal. That way you don't have any grinder marks when you're finished. And we want it to look, still want it to look beat up. That way when I do half clean this up to paint it and make it look decent, it still has a rough texture. So I'm gonna get the welder out and slowly burn this in here. And then I'll go ahead and cut one for that side as well. Yeah, well, I'm probably not gonna weld it with the motor in here. I'll go ahead and make both of these. That way, just like down there, I'll do all the welding at once. I don't want sparks to go in there. And like I said in a couple previous video, I had a bad experience with a welder and aluminum radiator once. A weld berry landed on one of the cores of a brand new radiator and melted a hole in it. So I'm not trying to have that happen again. So this piece is made. I'll go ahead and make that piece, and then we gotta crawl underneath this thing and cut the cross member out of it because it has been welded in. I'll show you that here in a second. But I'm gonna finish that side up, get it ready to go, and then we'll climb underneath and start getting this transmission out. All right, let's take a gander under here. I've kind of peeked around before, obviously, but okay. Here is the transmission cross member, and like I was saying, it's just welded in here. There's only a little tiny weld on there, but it also seems like the transmission is not even bolted down. So I'm not sure what to completely do yet. For now, obviously, I think I might leave that might leave that cross member in here and just use it to kind of hold up the transmission. I'm gonna have to completely remake that cross member, which is no big deal. Yeah, I think we're just gonna leave that in there for now. We'll have to get some material, or I have to get some material for it, and probably just use some square tubing, some angle, basically the same thing I did on the Catalina if you were there for that. But yeah, we'll have to figure that one out. But once again, I'll find some stuff, we'll make it work. But I think we're just gonna go ahead and yank this motor out of here. We'll get the radiator out first, and then yeah, get this out of here, and then start cleaning up where we notched out for the fender, or the headers. And then we'll get these welded in, get that welded up, take this out, yada yada yada. But yeah, let me get you guys set up. We'll get this yanked out, and go from there. Alright, so plan is now we're gonna patch this back together here. We're gonna cut this side up a little more, but my plan is this is one of the pieces from cutting this up. I said this before in the video, but I'm just gonna hold this up here, give it a little bit of a gap. Watch your eyes. Ow! Watch your hand, it's hot. Anyways, Get this where we want it. I want a little bit of a gap in there, mostly because the grinding wheel left a gap, but also it makes it for a better weld. So we'll get the gap even, about there, just like that. And then, I don't know what I did with the other piece. It's around here somewhere. Oh, right here. This is the piece that goes here. Now, my plan is, hopefully you guys can see this all right. I can't see the back of the camera, but I'm gonna put this back in here, obviously, and then from this point here, I'm gonna cut this straight down to this point. So I only need this triangle here. The rest of it's for clearance for the header. So I'm just gonna tack this in, and then we'll take the grinder and just cut off what we're not gonna use. Right about there, watch your eyes. Oh, I missed. Come on now. Get it where you want it. And then once we're done with all this, we'll just take the grinder and clean all the weld up, and you'll never know. And I think that I've decided, oh, come on now. What a new guy. If I put gloves on, this would have been a lot easier, but here we are. Just like that. Okay. Now I'm just going to go through here and slowly fully weld that around here, and then I'll cut this off later. I think I've decided though, I don't know how much you guys can see, from this seam down on this side and this side is where I'm going to paint, and then the rest of the firewall I'm going to leave it alone. This will end up rusting again. We got to doctor up these seams here, but we'll talk about that here in a second. So I'm going to go ahead and weld this up, and then I'll come back after I'm done welding on it. Okay, I am happy with that. I just rounded up all the corners, made everything kind of flow together, and you can't even tell that it was cut out. Well, you can because of the grinding marks, but once it's painted and it'll be down here by the header and everything, you're never gonna know the difference. But I still gotta finish this other side, and then there is these ribs here. Factory, they stuck out pretty far, but you have to cut them out when you V8 swap these cars. But as you can see, they were cut out pretty, I don't know, crudely, I guess you could call it. But regardless, I'm just going to run a cutoff wheel down the edge of this, just knock it back farther, straighten it up. I'll probably make this side match this side. It's more of a, I don't know how to explain it. It's hard to show it even. It's more of a taper. It doesn't look like this. Anyways, we got to make this side match this side. And then I'll be happy with down there. I'm just going to trim these down. I'm not going to make you guys watch all this. I'm just going to trim these down to where they're barely even sticking out, so they look a lot better. And then we still got to fix, do the welding up here. But like I said, I'm not going to make you guys watch all that. It's the same thing I just did here. Weld it, grind it, till it looks good. So I'm going to spend the next hour or two, 3, however long it takes, and knock all of this out. And then we're gonna get this thing outside, get this cleaned up. We got a lot of wire wheeling to do, and get it ready for some paint. So I'm just gonna knock this out. I'll be back. All right, I'm finally done making a huge mess. I've pushed it out so that way we could clean up said mess, but I figured I could show you guys. That's all doctored up. I think it looks really good. Same with this one. Almost looks factory if you ask me. Also with these, what do you call these? These little ribs, I just took them down where they're almost flush and then just kind of tapered it up as a little ramp here. it looks way better this way. That's how we're gonna leave that. Also, we did these. I welded these in. I took the grinder around the corner over, and these are way better than they were. So that way, our radiator isn't just gonna sit there and flop around. I do wish that I had the hood latch bracket. The previous owner contacted me and said that he had it. So I got to meet up with him sometime and get that. But I wish I had it before we was going to paint it, but it is what it is. Maybe I can meet up with him tomorrow real quick and pick that up from him. But now, when you clean up this mess, or we'll just wait. I completely forgot about wire wheeling all of this. You need to wire wheel all the inner fenders around here, what's left of the core support, this inner fender, and then we got to tape it off and shoot it black. So yeah, I'll go ahead and clean this mess up and push it back in, make another mess. Alright, as you guys can see, I'm just going to go through this whole thing and wire wheel everything that I want to paint. I'm not going for perfection here. I'm just looking to, as you can tell, knock the surface rust off. We're going to go around and do everything that's getting painted. Got the fan going, got the respirator on. Yeah, it's a great time. That was a lie. But yeah, I'm just going to knock this out real quick, and then I'll bring you guys back once it comes time to tape this thing off, or maybe I'll go ahead and tape it off and show you what I'm going to paint, or what, I don't know. We'll find out here in a little bit. So I'm just going to knock the rest of this out in the next hour or two. Alright, we're about as ready to spray as we're going to be. I got everything masked off, obviously. I'm just going to set you guys up on a time lapse again and just knock this thing out, only because I'm running out of time to finish this video, like usual. If more of you guys would subscribe and like this stuff, maybe I could quit my job and do this full time. But here we are. Yeah, set you guys up, knock this thing out, and see what it looks like. Alright, it's unmasked, obviously. I love it. I did it just like I did on the Catalina. I painted all the way up to the firewall and just cleaned up the engine bay itself. When it dries more, I'll climb in there and paint the frame rails and everything down in there. But I think it looks so much better when you leave the firewall with the patina look still. I don't know, just me. If you would have done it different, let me know. At the end of the day, this is how it's going to be. You just got to imagine it with the nice shiny motor and the nice radiator in there and everything. It's going to look awesome. And with the hood on there, you don't see the sides of it and all that, so it's going to look really good. But yeah, I hope you guys like that. Unfortunately, that's all I'm going to have time for this week, though. I've been working a lot. Race car out there. Anyways, that is all I'm going to have time for this week. Have to come back next week. I'm going to try to get this motor back in here. Maybe we'll get the rear end swapped out. Either way, we're going to keep moving forward on this. Though I do have some other stuff on the way for the Catalina as well. So if you're here to only watch the Catalina, maybe in another video or two, that we're back on that thing. But regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think, what you would have done different. But as always, I do appreciate you guys watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.